So we are talking about anime trends throughout time, a topic that I am completely unprepared for because this weekend I was off getting a motorcycle license, which I passed with flying colors.
Of course.
Not very difficult to do, by the way. So it's not like some bit. It's not exactly some feat of badassery. It's not like taking the driving test in Japan, where they fail you every time because they feel like it.
See, now, they say that with a motorcycle, it's not a matter of if you're going to get into an accident, it's when.
Yeah, they said that.
So.
But I'm not going to drive on the highway, Mom.
Okay.
I'm not going to.
Make sure you wear your helmet.
I'm not going to get a 1000cc Ducati.
One thing I never understood is riding a motorcycle is perfectly legal. You can ride a motorcycle wherever you want.
Yeah.
Right? However, if you're in a car, you have to wear a seatbelt, otherwise you get a ticket.
Yes.
I
think it's more dangerous to wear a seatbelt on a motorcycle.
No, but
because you could be trapped or pinned.
Sure, and that's not the point. The point is being in a car, and it's in and of itself is infinitely safer than being on a motorcycle.
Yes.
So why is it okay to be on a motorcycle out in the open air?
It shouldn't be.
And it's not okay to be in a safer vehicle just not wearing a seatbelt.
It shouldn't be.
It's the dumbest thing.
Well, a lot of laws are dumb.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. But, so we're a little underprepared for this. I'm sure you'll notice, but, what the hell?
Whatever.
So anime trends throughout time. A recent trend that I've noticed that's popped up in anime that has become a little more prominent is monster girls. So we could start there.
Monster girls. Okay.
Well, there's always been monster girls in anime.
Right.
You had like your Dragon Pink cat girls, and there were demon girls, and there's demon girls in hentai, and then like Moto Toraburu has like succubus girls that are very sexual.
Yeah.
And then there's
I feel like the monster girls in anime have become more like they've fused more with moe. So, for example, you have shows like a show I'll be doing an impression on later on in the show. Was it Kobayashi-san?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where it's like a dragon girl, and there's like a couple different dragon girls, but they're like very cutesy and fluffy and all that. And then there's also that show I did an impression on recently where it took place in a school, and there was like a succubus and a vampire and a Hell Dime or whatever it's called, the headless girl. But they're all like cute little moe characters.
Dullahan?
Yeah, Dullahan, that's what it was. And they're like all cute little moe girls. So I feel like there's been a fusion because maybe like in the early 2000s, there was more of that super sexualized, more aggressive monster girls, and now it's like they've fused with moe and they become just lighter characters.
Well, it's all pandering, and
yeah,
a lot of it's very sexual.
Right.
Monster Musume was a very sexual anime. There's no way around that. And I haven't seen your Demi-chan anime, but it may be sexualized as well.
Yeah,
Probably not quite like Monster Musume, but then there's other shows like Soro no Otoshimono, where you had like the monster angel girl type characters, and that's very sexual. We've had a lot. Like someone in the chat, Peter Wright asked if there were really that many monster girl shows nowadays. And if you think about it, if you look, there's pretty much one every season.
Oh, at least.
Yeah.
I just mentioned 2 from this season that I just happen to be doing impressions on.
Yeah, there's quite a few of them, and it's a trend that didn't exist that, 10 years ago, you wouldn't see it. It wouldn't be this prominent thing. There are, of course, some examples of it, but it wasn't something where like it seemed like there was at least one monster girl show running at all times.
It kind of started off way darker with Ninja? What's the name of the show? Super gory one with the spider.
Ninja Scroll.
Ninja Scroll. There you go. I'm thinking like Ninja Blade for some reason. It kind of started with that though. When you think about it, like there was like these demonic monster like sexualized chicks.
I think you're talking about Wicked City. With the vagina dentata, the Spider Woman.
Oh yeah, I'm mixing up all my late 80s, early 90s dark anime. But yeah, it kind of started in that era, like very dark and serious and like deadly. And then it just, as I said earlier, kind of like softened over time.
Yeah, and there was like Chimera and Biohunter. Like a lot of these old shows had monster girls in them,
Right.
but never like packs of monster girls. Now there's like whole packs of them,
Sure.
of course, right?
Yeah.
It's not enough to have a monster girl. You must have a whole harem of them.
I mean, hey, you got to do what you got to do.
I'm actually okay with this.
I'm sure you are.
The monster girls sort of fall into my wheelhouse to an extent,
Yeah.
but I only like very specific monsters. So,
Okay.
So like if you were to take Monster Musume for example,
Right.
the Snake Woman, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
She was pretty hot. I liked her. And then like the Water Woman, I was okay with that. But like the Bird Girl, not okay. Don't care for that.
Why not?
I just don't. Maybe it's feathers or something. I just don't. I'm not into that.
Okay.
The Succubus, I'm always into it. But yeah, Monster Girls are something that has popped up more, and I think you're going to see more of it. Because of the success of Monster Musume,
Right.
carving the way, proving that it's profitable, more anime studios are going to be cranking out that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that's really what anime studios do is they find something that, the majority of their viewers are going to appreciate, and then they beat it into the ground until nobody likes it anymore. And then they try something else. So that's pretty standard, over the years.
Yeah. So what else do we have here? There's lots of trends.
Goodness. Well, let's see. Going back, one of the trends that,
I was thinking club anime.
club anime, of course.
I mean, holy shit.
That I would like to know how many different shows there are about kids in high school or middle school.
Well, we could think of some.
Okay. Better yet, I'm going to Google a top 10
Top
list.
10 club anime? How you do that?
All right, let's see.
Well, I think that the club anime scene really began with K-On! I think that
Right.
anime's success, much like the success of Monster Musume had, not that they're at all comparable because K-On! Was massive, but K-On! Paved the way for an entire genre of anime. And it continues even to this season where we have the Minami Kamakura Jitensha Bicycle Club anime that Kimiko was doing,
Right.
because that is the latest of the I'm in a club, I must find members for my club, let's be happy high school students or middle school students and do our club activities and paint a large brush of nostalgia for all the people that are watching.
Okay.
As you do.
I've got a top. Well, I basically went to animeplanet.com and searched for school club anime and sorted by most viewed. So we'll just do like a top 10 here.
K-On!
K-On! Is on the list.
But
Here,
it's not the top?
It is third.
What the hell could be higher
top.
than K-On! Haruhi Suzumiya
Is second.
is second?
Yep.
Oh, man. What could possibly be more than Haruhi Suzumiya? I don't know.
Ouran High School Host Club is number
for
one.
God's sake.
Most watched, according to Anime Planet. And below there, you've got, let's see here.
We're on High School Host Club. Get that shit out of here.
I mean, it's popular. You've got Boku wa Tomodachi ga Sukunai.
Okay.
Don't know what that is. You've got
I have
Kuroko's
very few friends
Yeah,
or something.
Oh, you got Kuroko's no Basket, right? Isn't that what it's called?
That's a sports anime.
It's a sports club.
Oh,
You've got My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu.
okay, yeah.
You've got Free, Iwatobi Swim
Are
Club.
they just going to throw every sports anime in here?
Those are school clubs.
Haikyuu.
Haikyuu is on the list.
Yeah, Yomushi Pedal.
Not on the list. 'Cause nobody cares
You
about-
think you're funny?
I mean, it might be somewhere deep down on the list towards the end of,
You think
way
you're-
down
you think
the
you're
list.
a funny guy, don't you? K-On! Season 2.
Yeah, that is on there as well.
Rokubu. That's definitely not on there.
No, I don't see that.
That was that basketball lolicon anime that came out.
Oh, you know what's on here? Probably around 20 or
Ping
so.
pong?
Genshiken. I love
Oh, okay.
Genshiken.
Yeah, okay. That's old, though.
I know. Well, Genshiken 2 is on the list. I don't know if Genshiken, the first season, is somewhere on here, but yeah, that was a fun show. I mean, at least for me. So yeah, school club anime is huge and has been probably for the past
decade and a half.
yeah, probably around 10, 15 years, I would say.
Is Keijo a club anime?
You know, I haven't seen enough of it to know. Like
You'll be seeing it eventually.
I'm sure.
Your time is coming.
Oh God, help us.
So yeah, there's definitely a lot of club anime, and I'm sick and tired of them, to be honest. I think it's time we move on to something else, to something more original, to something more interesting.
I think it'll happen. I mean, but another thing to consider is we talk often about the turnaround in anime fandom. Like, it's constantly refreshing. There's constantly new people coming into it and older people falling out of it.
The turnover?
The turnover, yeah.
It's very fast.
Right. And so these school club anime are huge for young kids coming into the medium. And I think it's something that could be around forever. Now, what I don't like, and I do,
Don't say that.
Huh?
Don't say that.
I mean, I think it's true. And I do like some school club anime. Like, I loved Free. That was a lot of fun for me.
I don't count that. It's a sports anime.
No, it's literally a school club.
Do they compete in sports?
Yeah.
It's a sports anime. See, like in my mind, there's sports anime and then there's club anime.
Okay. I see what you mean.
Like Sound Euphonium is club anime. It's about band. It's about the band, the school band.
Right.
Okay. K-On! is a music club.
Okay.
The stupid anime that's about the high school Seitokai no Ichizon,
right,
where they're all
but aren't school sports clubs also I mean, it's a combination of the two.
I guess in Japan they call them clubs.
Yeah.
But to me, to my understanding of sports in high school, they're not clubs, they're just the school team. Like the football team at your high school is not a club, it's a sports team.
Well, and that said, there's another trend in anime right there. Sports.
I mean, they call sports teams like baseball teams clubs. Soccer clubs, football clubs. So if you're going to go that far, then even like something like Major is a club anime.
Yeah, but this is specifically school club.
Well, part of the first half of Major took place in middle school and high school.
But the team wasn't a school team.
Yes, it was.
Was it?
Yeah. And really early when he was in high school.
Oh, when he was like
when he was in high school.
Okay.
When Goro was in high school, it was a school team. I mean, then he goes to the major leagues.
But yeah, kind of to finish my point on it though, I don't have anything really against these club animes. In fact, I enjoy some of them. My problem is when you go through a season and there's like 5 of them, and it's like, is this really necessary that almost every show coming out this season is about a school club? It's overkill, and it takes out, places for more unique shows. They're I don't know. It's too much.
It is, and I know we can do better. And the problem is that not only are they all club anime, but they're all the same formula.
I love Godius Maximus in the chat. He said, "What a great transition by Kazuo that Mitsugi completely ignored."
Did I ignore a transition?
Yeah, because I was like, well, speaking of which, sports is another great. And then you're just like, more about clubs. Like, all right, let's not talk.
No, I didn't fully overlook that.
That's fine.
So what, like specifically Fujoshi targeted sports?
That's a good point.
Because there's always been sports anime. Way back to
when was oh, you're right. You know
Captain
what?
Tsubasa was like the 70s.
Yeah.
Hajime no Ippo's old.
Before Hajime no Ippo, you had what's it called? Oh crap, that other boxing anime that came out a long time ago.
Well, there's like Slam Dunk. That's old. That's not boxing, but that's
no. Crap, I can't remember. It's gonna kill me.
Ashita no Joe.
That's it. Yeah. When did that come out? That was like
old,
in the 60s or some crap.
Old, not quite that old.
No, but it was old.
But
probably the 80s.
But when like Ashita no Joe came out, and when Baki the Grappler and Hajime no Ippo and some of these other shows came out, they weren't Fujoshi shows.
Right.
Now they are.
You know what?
Your Haikyuu, your Free, your Yomushi Pedal, all of these shows are Fujoshi bait.
Ashita no Joe, the manga, came out in the 60s.
Yeah, but what about the anime?
Well, okay, you know what?
This is an anime podcast, Kazuo.
The anime began April 1st, 1970. So
1970?
Yeah.
Oh, that's much older than I thought.
Yeah, that's some old ass sports anime.
That's
right there.
old ass right there.
Yeah.
Wrinkly even. Wrinkly.
Wrinkly old ass anime.
Chat, Amon81 says that Initial D is a great sports anime, and I agree.
Yeah, that
Until the 5th season. Seasons 1 through 4 I really loved.
right.
It deteriorated like a lot of shows do.
Definitely. But yeah, sports anime is another one that has been around for quite some time, and we get new shows every season. But what you were saying, it's becoming a lot more Fujoshi bait. But even then, some of it is good. Like with Free. Free is a really good overall show that has a heck of a lot of Fujoshi bait in there. So it's not it's not mutually exclusive. Like, you know, you can pander and at the same time be a good quality show.
Cheer Boys.
Well,
We just reviewed that. Didn't we?
yeah, it wasn't terrible.
No, but it was Fujoshi.
Yeah.
It wanted to be. It did a bad job of it.
Right.
All Out, that rugby anime that I failed.
Oh yeah.
Total Fujoshi.
Huh.
Yeah. Battery, that show that came out, the baseball.
Battery. Yeah, that was
I
like
failed that one too.
that was super questionable.
And I wanted to watch that, but I didn't end up watching it because I just forgot. It was really boring.
Yeah.
There's a
good
lot of
point.
these.
There's a ton
There's one every season. I mean, there's 3 Haikyus, there's 3 Omushi pedals,
for sure.
and there will be more of them also.
Yeah. Now again, these trends aren't necessarily bad. It's just we're just observing trends in the anime industry. And
They're not bad.
no,
And I think people
they have bad shows in them, just like anything else.
Yeah,
like you
yeah.
know, any genre is going to have good and bad shows within it. So
I mean, there are trends that I really love.
right.
Like I love Yomishi Pedal. You don't like it. I love it.
Yeah.
You love Free though, so you're not totally out on the trend.
True.
But then there are trends I don't care for, like the club shows. So
Yeah.
not everything is for everybody.
No, that's a good point. That's an important point as well. Another trend that it's been floating through my head here is, and this is a huge one that's been around for a long, long
Is
time.
it huge?
It's huge. It's
Big.
mecha, just mecha in general.
This is
Like
gonna be the biggest. This is gonna be the best podcast ever. It's gonna be so big.
we're gonna build a Gundam.
We're gonna build a Gundam.
We're gonna make Hiro Yui pay for it.
Hero, Relina Peacecraft will pay for it
Yeah,
with her tears.
with her tears. But
Now,
yeah,
Mecha,
that is a huge trend.
but
But it has been dying off more recently, I would think.
my question is like, what period of time are you discussing for that trend? Like older? Is that a past trend? Because I mean,
you
we've
know-
had mecha shows since since original Mobile Suit Gundam,
Yeah, when was that?
like
83.
a long ass time ago, a
was it-
wrinkly ass time ago.
Was it 83, the original Mobile Suit Gundam? I don't know.
I think it's older than that.
Is it?
I don't know,
But
but we've had mecha shows
right, but I
the
think
entire time.
right, but it definitely peaked in popularity, and I think it's definitely on the decline now.
Well, yeah, I mean, except for like your few Gundam shows. Once a year, you have a Gundam show.
Original Mobile Suit Gundam aired 79 to 80. I was close.
Yeah, I mean, very old.
Yeah,
Not
but-
Ashton and Joe old, but
But like basically, so mecha kind of popularized in the early 80s and grew throughout the 90s, and then into the early 2000s is where it started to see like a decline, and now it's like, I mean, you might get one a season, if that.
well, you only have they only have manpower for so many shows, right? And we know that there are other trends in the anime right now that are way more popular than mecha.
Yeah.
So I just think studios go where the money is. I mean, it's as simple as that, you know?
No, that's a good point.
The Fujoshi shows make a shitload of money, and it's like, you know, they want the cashola,
Yeah.
and some random mech show isn't going to make any money because no one's into that right now. So they just don't make it. You know, it's the people that are stuck in the past that get screwed.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I recently read something about, speaking of being stuck in the past, I read something about the type of music that people listen to. And oftentimes the style of music that you'll listen to for the rest of your life is the music that you enjoyed when you were in high school. Like that genre.
Bop. bop.
Is that what you listened to in high school?
That was popular in high school.
Right.
I didn't listen to it specifically.
Right. But like the whatever you were into at that point in your life is what you'll continue to be into for the rest of your life. And so likewise, you would think with any art medium like anime, whatever you were into at a pivotal moment in your life will remain with you for the rest of it. So, the people that are, maybe a little bit older than us were really into mecha when they were young, and maybe they've carried that with them through to this day, even though it's not very popular. And kind of like with us, we were really into those like shonen action kind of shows when we were young. And so we've carried that through to this day, which is why I really enjoy shows like My Hero Academia, even though they're not necessarily super popular, but I love it because it's like, this is what I really enjoyed growing up.
Well, fortunately for you, shonen action shows are always going to be in vogue.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the poorer person who's stuck on Gundam,
yeah,
is stuck in the past.
It's like, well, you got one show. Enjoy.
You get one show a year.
That's it.
Although there has been a swath of Gundam, like Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn, Iron Blooded Orphans.
Right.
There's been at least like one good mech show running pretty much continuously for a while.
Yeah.
But there hasn't been a bunch of them.
But man, there's been some bad mech shows in the past few years.
Captain Earth.
Oh God.
Is that what you're thinking of?
Oh God, that's exactly what I was
Cross
thinking
Ange.
of. Oh no. Captain Earth to this day, I think, is my lowest rated show on my anime
You
list.
hated that.
Oh my God, it was terrible. I was also newer to the podcast when I reviewed it. So like I was especially offended by it because I wasn't.
You wanted to make your stand as a true hater.
Well, and I wasn't as calloused as I am now. Now it's like, now I can deal with a lot of this garbage, and I'm like, all right, whatever.
Who's more callous, you or me?
That's a good question.
I think it's you.
I think
You even didn't like ReZero.
Yeah, you're right.
and you didn't like Grimgar.
True.
Speaking of those shows,
Yeah.
physically being pulled into a fantasy-style
my
video
God.
game,
Yeah.
those shows are plentiful and are really popular.
Where did that start? Dot hack?
Well, yeah, I mean, Dot Hack wasn't... Dot Hack did well.
Right. No, I'm saying like where did that genre kind of begin, or at least become more popularized? I'm sure
Well,
it began with some like obscure show we've never seen, but
Yeah, I mean... Dot Hack sort of formalizes it by actually explaining that the story is this person's playing a video game and they're pulled into the world.
Right.
Literally, the game is called The World.
yeah,
Right?
it is.
But there are other shows before that, like Record of Lodoss War, that sort of paint the feel of that anyway, but don't specifically tell you they were pulled into a world.
Right.
Like ReZero and Record of Lodoss War have a lot of things in common. They're shows with a fantasy setting where the characters have specific roles, or like Grimgar would be a better example. Grimgar and Record of Lodoss.
Okay.
Fantasy world. The characters in each anime have specific fighting roles. Like there's your mage, there's your healer, there's your warrior.
Yeah.
But in Grimgar, they specifically say they're in a game, if I recall. In Record of Lodoss,
I think they officially said that.
I think they do because they're leveling up and stuff in the game. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. And in Record of Lodoss, they don't ever say that. But had they said it, it would be in that category because everything else about it fits.
Right.
So I don't really know where it started, but
But that's been a theme that's been sticking around, especially lately. And it seems like we're getting maybe not a new one every season, but yeah, it may be.
the chat, Amon says, Lodoss was full fantasy, not gone game at all. Well, I know that. I'm just saying that
It had the feel.
it's the same thing. It's just they don't formally say... Like Dot Hack, they showed you the character playing with the headset, which looks an awful lot like the VR headsets we play with right now, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Awful lot like it.
Well, same in crap. What's the other one? With Kirito, Sword Art
Sword
Online.
Art Online.
Wears that helmet, lays down in his bed.
I haven't seen that, but Dot Hack, they show you them with the headset like maybe twice for just a couple minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, basically they don't really... It's the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, and again, it's not a terrible genre. Like,
It's not.
yeah, there are some really good shows in that and some
Yeah.
very interesting concepts. And what I really appreciate about it is it's something that I feel like a lot of us want to experience in real life. Like there's that whole, like it is escapism at its core.
Well, we have VR headsets.
Right. And so this is something that we're like, man, wouldn't it be badass if I could just go into like some video game world where I can fight monsters? Like we all want that, or at least a lot of us do. So it's something that we can all kind of cling to in that way. An issue that I've noticed with it is, and this happens with any genre that's being just rolled out constantly, is a lack of originality, a lack of difference, but major differences between the different shows. Like a lot of them are, all right, male character puts on a headset, goes into a world, fights monsters, level up, meets a girl who needs him to save her.
The girls love him.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, well, it's kind of that's like one thing I appreciated about what was the show with the guy who kept getting killed and coming back to life.
ReZero?
Yeah, ReZero. There you go. God, I'm terrible with names. But that's one of the things I appreciated about it, was it had that kind of original idea, that they were playing with. So, and I think that's something important with a lot of these genres. Like you can have they always say that there's only a set number of stories that you can tell in movies or TV shows or anything like that. Like there's like 20 stories, and every movie and every show you've ever seen is just a variation of that story.
If you want to be a true genius, you got to create the 21st.
The 21st story?
Yeah.
That would be a good idea for like a book or something. Call it the 21st story. And it's, I don't know that's all I have is a title and an idea. I don't know what it would be about.
The answer to everything in the universe is now
21.
43.
No. So like these concepts in and of themselves are fun and interesting, but you have to do something unique with them, which I think a lot of creators have trouble with, especially because they have to, you have to pour out a new show every season with a lot of these studios. They're constantly working on something new. They have to roll out another episode and get it going. So they don't have a lot of time to sit back and really get creative with a lot of these shows.
They may not have time. I mean, I wonder if some of this might be a matter of not having enough time to properly come up with a concept.
I think so.
And they we have to mass produce anime as fast as possible.
I mean, look at us. We're just bullshitting this whole show.
Yeah, basically.
Because we didn't have time to come up with something creative.
Fist bump.
Nailed it.
We can't all do some of us are getting motorcycle licenses.
It's true.
I think I'm going to buy whatever motorcycle Onizuka rode on.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome.
You remember that flashback image where he's like leaning back and doing the wheelie and he's got all his crazy hair?
That's a great idea.
Yeah. I'm gonna get like the white Bosozoku trench coat.
Yeah.
With like the decals on the back of it.
That would be sick.
Oh yeah. I think he rode a Suzuki.
I think so. I'll see if I can find it.
But I'm a newbie, so I might kill myself on an Onizuka motorcycle. Yeah, look that up for me.
Absolutely.
Can't be hard to find. How about male idol shows?
He drove a Kawasaki KZ1000.
Okay.
That's the name of the motorcycle.
Thank you.
So, wow,
that's probably
cool.
expensive. Have you found one on Craigslist for me?
Hold on, I'm on it.
So we have, look that up for me. I want to know how much that costs and what the engine capacity is of that. So male idol shows and just idol shows in general have exploded. There's been so many of these anime, and they've been ridiculously popular, and it's not going anywhere. The idol scene in Japan is just getting bigger and bigger. There are shows like Love Live.
They're super cheap.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, because they're older. Like, he had a 70 something. Well, I don't know what model he had, but I can look it up. But, like, his was probably, like, in the early 80s, which are, like, a couple $1,000.
Yeah? How many cc's is it?
I don't know.
Then you have, like, Idol Master. There's, like, 4 Idol Master shows, and there's a bunch of Love Live shows. And there's Wake Up Girls and Pre-Para and Aikatsu and a lot of other of these idol shows. And then there's been male idol shows too. It's not just girl idols.
That's true.
And these shows are perfect because the chat says it's 1000 cc.
That's what I would assume.
I would kill myself on that.
Nah, you'd be fine, bro.
No, what?
Dude.
I would be dead in a week.
What's the worst that could happen?
I go too fast and die.
Yeah, but you'll look like Onizuka doing it.
That's true. I could go out like a badass.
Look, I'm just gonna need you to look at this picture. Okay? That could be you in that white suit.
Oh shit, Onizuka is so cool.
That could be you, man. That's all I'm saying.
Onizuka is pretty cool, I gotta say. No, the motorcycle that I took my test on was only a 250cc.
Yeah, you'll be
It
fine.
was like a baby mobile.
Check that out, dude.
Oh my god, let me say that's it. That's the image I was talking about.
Yeah.
Where he's busting the wheelie like a friggin' badass.
That could be you.
Onizuka is so cool. He's the coolest He's the coolest ever.
If only he was a trend in anime.
Can we just have one more anime like Onizuka? Period. Please.
I don't know.
Anything.
What was
just
that
one more?
What was that one anime where they had the alien teacher and they had to try to kill him? It was that yellow guy.
Oh god.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but that wasn't like
That was not. I mean, it wasn't bad.
that wasn't like Onizuka though.
No. I was just thinking of like teachers that were.
Ansatsu Kyoshitsu. Assassination Classroom.
That's what it is. Yep, that's it.
Yeah, so the idol shows are perfect because they always have like a dozen characters, and they can take these characters and they can put them in gachapon machines.
Right.
And you have these like Japanese people that take $50 worth of 100 yen coins, and they're just pumping them into these gachapon machines so they can put a pin of every character on their backpack. But it takes a lot of tries to get all 12.
Oh, of course.
So
That's why you get a 3D printer and you just make your
just
own.
make your own.
You'd be like, cheat the system.
that's what people do, and that makes so much money. And then they do that, and then shops that sell merchandise will go to these machines, buy them out, buy every single item in them,
Yeah.
sell
them for a premium.
put them together in like a set, and sell the set already opened, so you don't have to go through the effort of getting 1,000 duplicates.
It's a good
So
idea.
there's this whole crazy economy based on gachapon machines, and these idol shows you're going to see them. When we're in Japan, you're going to see tons of gachapon machines, and there's going to be a lot of idol shows. And Haikyuu is not any different. Haikyuu has like a ton of characters.
Right.
So it's perfect for this. And they're basically
Well-
idols anyway.
Yeah. And we're getting back into like club shows and all that stuff. But that reminds me of Chirdanshi. It was like they tried to introduce all these characters in like 12 episodes and there just wasn't enough time. So I don't know. It's just kind of like a little side thing there.
How much money do you think you're going to spend on like gachapon machines?
I don't think I'll spend much, honestly. I don't know. I don't know
I'm looking at you.
what.
I'm suspicious.
I'm a minimalist, like really. I don't buy a lot of things to just have around. So I don't know. I'll definitely pick up a few souvenirs, but I'm not gonna go ball outrageous.
I've been selling things lately.
Have you?
I sold an auto harp.
Oh, I was gonna say your soul.
Well, that's a given. But I sold an auto harp.
An auto harp.
Yeah.
Okay.
An auto harp is a musical instrument where you don't have to actually know shit about music to play it. It's a little harp, like a lute, that has a row of buttons on it. And when you push a button down, it mutes all the strings except the ones that make up that chord. So then all you do is like hold C sharp major or whatever, and then just strum the whole thing, and it makes the C sharp major.
So speaking of auto harp,
I was walking around my office serenading women with it.
how about musical trends in anime? Or anime based on music, or anime that a large part of the show is the music. Like you can even look at shows like Cowboy Bebop, for instance, where one of the characters in the show is the music.
Do a lot of these shows overlap with club shows?
They could.
If you drew a Venn diagram,
They could.
what would it look like?
I mean, it's certainly a segment of music shows is club shows, for sure, a large segment. But then there are other shows that are just heavily influenced by the music in them. So,
Like Kids on the Slope?
like Kids on the Slope. Yeah.
Basically anything with Yoko Kanno?
Right. Yeah, anything with Yoko Kanno or directed by, what's his name? The guy who directed Kids on the Slope and Cowboy
Shinichiro
Bebop.
Watanabe?
Yeah. So any of his stuff basically is all very heavily musically influenced. But then there's also a lot of shows nowadays that that don't really use music, at least not very well. Like, what was the one that you were messing around on the keyboard with and you recorded like just you slamming on the keys? And it was like one of these was me slamming on the keys and
God.
one was the song from the show.
I don't remember. That show was terrible, though.
Yeah.
The music was really bad.
Right. But and
Oh, was it It was Real Life.
was it?
I think so. The music was horrible.
I think you're right. And Real Life was an okay show.
It was an okay show, but the music was very bad.
Well, that's an interesting thing about music in anime is that it can, when done really well, it can be awesome and it can be an integral part of the story. Like, you know, with a lot of the shows that Yoko Kanno does music on, except for that one. What's it called?
Do you think Watanabe and Yoko Kanno are
An Item.
banging?
You think they're hooking up?
You think they're bumping their things together?
I mean, it's possible. Probably not, because nobody's bumping anything together in Japan.
They go to Korea to do that.
Yeah. But yeah, like music can be something that is integral to the story. It could be something that you just don't really notice, and it can be something that really takes you out of it, like in the case of Real Life. So there's an interesting trend in anime. Probably something I would like to see more time spent with, but again, you come down to time constrictions. They just don't have enough time to put a lot of effort into a lot of these shows.
I don't have a lot more, but there's also food shows.
Yeah,
We
there's
just
a few of
said,
those.
did you watch Sweetness and Lightning?
Yeah, I picked that one.
So that was a food show.
It was,
The Shokugeki no Soma.
yeah,
Got a
which I
couple
didn't
seasons
like.
Chiaki loves it.
Yeah,
But a couple seasons of that.
and Sweetness and Lightning was a food show, but it was also like a family show. You know, it was about a father dealing with the loss of his wife and raising his little girl on his own. So it's like there was a lot more to it than just that. And that's one of the beautiful things about what you can do with shows like food shows, is that it doesn't have to be necessarily about let's prepare this meal. It's about what happens around the meal that makes it
Or to
really
your
compelling.
body when you're eating the meal.
right.
As
yeah,
in Shokugeki
of
no
course.
Soma.
Yeah, where your clothes fly off and you.
I haven't seen this one, but there's also Poco's Udon World, which came out this
I don't know.
year.
Okay.
And
haven't heard of that
Udon no Kuni no Kiniro Kemari. I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it. But there are definitely food shows out there.
Right. What are some trends, I guess, as we finish this topic off, what are some trends that you foresee or that you would like to see in the future? I've got one.
Okay. Good, because I don't.
Virtual reality anime. That could be an interesting trend.
Like anime about virtual reality or anime where we experience it through virtual reality?
The latter. Anime that you experience in virtual reality. Now, I have no idea how they would do it.
Hentai.
It would probably have to be, it probably wouldn't be traditionally animated, that's for sure. It would probably be like, you know, CG and all that. But that would be really interesting. And we talked about this kind of in the Hobby Addicts about how I think it would be cool. And it's something I think that at least movies are going to be moving towards, is putting you in the movie, in virtual reality, where you're in the scene and you can look around and look at different things. So that would be something that would be really interesting in anime, a trend to go towards.
You can pretty much say that for anything.
Yeah.
Like, you know, real life just isn't real enough. I need to have a virtual reality of real life.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I'm being facetious, but it's
Okay.
like I think it's funny that people are into this are into VR
Yeah.
when you can just do these things in real life.
Some of them, yeah.
It's like if you wanna go do like if you wanna go look at sharks underwater, like that one PlayStation VR game, just go get a scuba diving certification. You can do that.
I suppose, but it's also time consuming and dangerous. I don't know.
But so is wearing a VR headset. You may never be able to take that headset off. Have you learned nothing from .hack?
You're right. Good call. My bad.
You might get trapped in Sword Art Online with a bunch of girls with giant breasts.
I don't see anything wrong with that. That seems okay to me. I'll take it.
One last question. What % of shows each season do you think are from these trends? And which ones do you think fall outside of the trends?
I would have to look at a list of the shows that are coming out this season, but just from what I did impressions on, all of the shows that I have impression, literally all of them, they're all either about a school, like just being in a school or a school club. Actually, I think they're all about schools, really.
I think mine too.
I think all of my shows are...
Konosuba is a fantasy game anime.
Right.
Yoa Pedal is a Fujoshi anime. What else did I have? I can't remember the rest.
Yeah.
I'm old. I can't remember things.
Yeah. Neither do I, but that's fine.